talk to you guys today about the biggest mistake people make when they're building a property portfolio. Now, this is for people that are on low to normal incomes. My name is Thomas O'Regan. I'm a property investor here in Australia, and over the last 4 years, me and my wife have 20x'd our property portfolio. So basically, whether you're on a low income or a normal income, don't let people tell you you can't build financial freedom, or you can't buy investment properties. So a lot of people out there will just not even give you a chance, and when you're on a low income, and most of the time that is because these people have given up on themselves. Okay, so basically what a lot of people get wrong, especially if they're on a low income when they're building a property portfolio, is they don't take into consideration how much income or how much rent the property is going to generate that they are purchasing. And let's just, to make things simple and clear, let's just say every time you buy a property and it's generating rental income, let's just say you're going to add that rental income to your base salary or your normal income that you get from your job, and you're giving yourself a pay raise. So let's say this, like, would you prefer to give yourself a pay raise of $300 per week, or would you prefer to give yourself a pay raise of $500 per week? Now, everyone is obviously going to say $500 per week, but why don't people think about that when they're purchasing investment properties? And this is especially important if you're on a low income. So the way I think about buying investment properties is I think about every time I buy an investment property, I'm giving myself a pay raise. So I don't need to go back to my boss and say, hey, can you give me more money? Because when I buy a property that is generating high income, high rent, it is like giving myself a pay raise. Now, let me explain. So basically, if you have a property that is generating, say, for example, $500 rent per week, that is about $480 per week. Now, if you buy a property that's generating $480 per week, it's about $25,000 per year. So let's just say if you had a normal income of $75,000, for example, and you purchase a property that was generating $480 per week, you're giving yourself a pay raise to $100,000. Guess what happens when you give yourself a pay raise to $100? It increases your servicing. So the difference here between someone that is a high income earner and someone that is an average income earner is the fact that this person is a high income earner. It allows them to get access to more debt. It allows them to borrow more money to buy larger properties. Okay, so but if you are buying properties that generate high cash flow, you're effectively giving yourself a pay raise every time you buy a property. And what that is doing in the background, it is increasing your borrowing capacity, so you can go out there again and scale your property portfolio from 1 to 2 to 3. Now, one of the hardest parts about building a property portfolio is the financial aspects, or the financing aspect of a property portfolio, because it's very hard to balance your servicing capacity with acquiring more properties, because it seems like as you build your property portfolio, you're getting into more and more and more debt, which is true, right? But if you're giving every time you buy a property, you're giving yourself a pay raise in the form of rental income, then that is how you are able to grow. And it works especially well when you are on a low income or a normal income. So whereas someone on a high income, they may not need or require properties that are generating such high cash flow, but you or anyone that is on a moderate or normal to low income will, to continue growing their portfolio, you will need to purchase properties with high rental income, okay, to get to the next level of servicing. So for me, I have 10 properties at this stage, and the rent, to be honest, the rent fluctuates from about $420 to $650. But for argument's sake, let's just say all the all the properties are generating, just to make the maths easy, $500 per week. So basically, $500 per week times 52 weeks in a year, that's $260,000 right there. $26,000 per year of rental income per property. Now, I have 10 properties. Me and my wife have 10 properties at the moment. So that is generating the rental properties we have, not including our own salaries, our own wages that we earn from our jobs. Our income on top of that is $260,000 per year from rental properties. So you can see how whatever amount of money we make at our jobs, no matter how low, that amount of rental income is substantially high enough to help us service the loan and purchase and grow to the next property, which will again be a high cash flowing property. Now, don't get me wrong, or I didn't say it, but I want to be clear, just because you're purchasing a property that is high cash flowing doesn't mean it doesn't have high potential for capital growth. The reality is you can get both, and your property portfolio will really start to explode and grow fast, like me and my wife's have, if you compare these two things together: high capital growth and high cash flow. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Good luck investing. All the best. See ya. Bye.